Welcome back. I'm glad you decided to return and take lesson 2 of At Home with Hebrew. In this lesson, we will introduce two new letters, Gimel and Dalet. And just like the first letter of each word, that's how they sound. So G for Gimel and D for Dalet. G is the third letter of the alphabet and has the number 3 associated with it. Dalet is the fourth letter and has the number 4. Gimel reminds us of Gemal, which is both can mean camel and also has to do with kind of like a form of loving kindness. So kindness and culmination. And D has to do with dimensions and concern. And Dalet also reminds us of the Hebrew word door. So now, here what I'm doing, I'm showing you how you should not get these letters mixed up with other letters. So in this lesson, we're learning only the letter Gimel. But I want you to look at these other two letters and tell me how Gimel is different. So it's quite different than this one. Basically, this one kind of looks like the Gimel, but there's no kicker at the bottom or no foot to it. And this is the Vav. And here's the letter Nun, and it's very similar to a Gimel. If you're reading fine print Hebrew, you might get these two mixed up. Notice the top is maybe a little different, but practically the same. But the bottom is different. So on the Nun, it's kind of a rounded, straight bottom, whereas Gimel looks more like a boot. You might think of, in school they always taught you that Italy looks like a boot. So Gimel kind of looks like Italy, kind of looks like a boot or a shoe or something. Or you might think G is in girl, and maybe you can picture this as a girl's hair and her face or something like that. Dalet is very similar in appearance to the letter Resh, or Resh, some people call it. And the big difference here again is one is totally rounded. Resh is round, and Resh is also similar to the word Rosh, which means head. Where Dalet, think of more like a door. You have a door post, and then you have a lintel on the top of the door. So there's always two different lines here, like two strokes of the pen, where you would draw the top of the Dalet, and then you would pick your pen up and you would draw the other line. Where Resh is like a smooth one long stroke of the pen. So now we're going to use the same vowels to start with that we learned in lesson 1. We learned the Segol and the Patak and the comets. So here we have de, or some people would say day, but I'm going to use the short sound de, de, da, and again da. So Dalet is the D is in dog. Gimel is like the G is in girl or good. So here you have ge, or gay, ge, ga, ga. Okay, so now we're going to mix these two letters up, and we're going to just use the two new letters. We're not going to use the letters yet that we learned in lesson 1. So G is the G Gimel sound. So how would you say this first letter? Ga, ga. Okay, second one. Same pronunciation as the first one because the comets and the patak have the same sound. Ga. The next one is the Segol. How would you say this box right here? Ge, ge. Or again, some people might say gay instead of ge. Now we go to the other letter. D is in door. How would you say this letter? Da, da. And what vowel is that under the D? When it's a straight little line, what's it called? It's called a patach. P-A-T-A-C-H, patach. The next one, the vowel is called what? Comets. Little T looks like is called a comets. So how would you pronounce this box? Da. So remember, da and da have the same pronunciation. The next one would be de or day. De. Now put two letters together. Notice there's no vowel under the second one. So how would you say this box here? I'll give you just a second to practice. Gog, Gog. And this one, dod. Now make sure you don't say gag and dad. There is really, a lot of languages don't have the ah as an apple sound like we do in English. It's an ah sound, not an ah sound. So we have gog and dod. How would you say this one? Gaga. Gaga. Sounds kind of like baby talk, doesn't it? And this one? Dada or dada. The next one? Gage. Gage. And this one? The last one on the page? Dega. Dega. Remember, if you have the program at home and you're practicing these, you can click each one and you can hear it over and over and over again. And you can kind of be your own teacher as you go through the program. Now we're going to mix the letters you learned in Lesson 1 with the letters you learned in Lesson 2. So now you have to think back. So how would you say this first box? Ba. This one? Da. Another one of your new letters? Ge. This one? Notice there's no dot in the middle. So what would that be? Va. Va. Here? Ah. Be. Be. Next line. Ga. Ga. Second box. Eh. Eh. Third box. Da. Da. This one? Ga. With the G sound. Ga. This one? You can look up here if you need to. That's the V sound, so you'd say ve. Ve. And here? De. De. Okay, good. You now are mixing up 4 letters and 3 different vowels. So here's the color coding that we use. We have 2 forms of yellow. A light yellow is nonsense words, and then a brighter yellow is basically English words that we spell with Hebrew letters. And then 2 forms of blue. Blue are real but obscure Hebrew words you probably wouldn't learn as a beginner. And so again, we're teaching you to read here, not to learn vocabulary at this point. And then a brighter blue word is a more frequently used Hebrew word that you might want to learn the meaning of. So here you see all these